as the attitude of being a contributor. Thus, in every situation, if you ask ourselves, we can take advantage of every situation as an opportunity to grow. And what is meant by growth is that we progressively gain inner purity. And the primary impurity is self-centeredness. I'm always for myself. Either overtly or covertly. My intention is to take advantage of every situation for self-gratification. Self can mean the sense of organs, sense gratification, ego gratification. Because of a lack from within myself, a sense of little vacuum in myself, there is a need for me to gain happiness from outside. So it's natural that I look upon every situation as an opportunity to gain some kind of happiness, either at the sense level, at the emotional level, at the ego level. So this is generally my approach because of my need to secure happiness from outside. Because I am not able to get happiness from myself. And therefore the whole life is spent in trying to extract happiness from outside. And thus I have a tendency to look upon every situation as a means of gaining some gratification or other. That's a usual tendency. Now this is a wrong process of being happy. Number one, happiness is not out there, it's within me. So even if I am successful in getting some happiness by taking advantage of something, I may have some temporary satisfaction. It's only temporary. And then the quantum of happiness I get becomes less and less by the law of diminishing return. And therefore my craving is never satisfied. So what is called Yajna, Lord Krishna says that you live life in such a manner that every occasion becomes an opportunity to gain happiness from yourself. You have taken for granted that I am an unhappy person. And my usual attempt to get happiness from myself don't succeed. So Lord Krishna says that become a contributor. So rather than looking upon an occasion or situation as a means of deriving happiness, take that opportunity to give happiness. So now I can ask a question. How can I use the situation for my benefit? Or how can I give benefit to the situation? This choice is available to us. Our free will provides this choice. I may not have choice even to decide what I want to do because that situation may require me to do. It is not the doing that is a means of happiness or unhappiness. It is the attitude behind the doing that creates happiness or unhappiness. This is a very important lesson that we have to learn. It's not karma that is the means of happiness or unhappiness. Karma becomes a means of happiness with the right attitude and unhappiness with the wrong attitude. So the attitude that I have right now of using karma as a means of extracting happiness is a wrong attitude. In that process I am creating unhappiness for myself. And so, how to use that opportunity to contribute, to be useful, to help, to reach out, to be kind. So this spirit of yajna can be simply practiced by right values. A value for being a kind person, an accommodating person, a forgiving person. There is a statement there. Happiness does not mean that everything is perfect. Happiness is looking beyond imperfections. And so happiness is not out there because perfect. I think that happiness is out there, so I'm looking for perfection. But how can I contribute to any situation in whichever way I can? If that is my approach or attitude, I may not in the beginning find a way of contributing. What can I do? How can I have nothing to help? Nothing to contribute, that's what I may feel. But then I will discover that just by being a kind person, by accepting others as they are, including their limitations and shortcomings, that's called kindness. That when I can accept your shortcomings, your limitations, even your defects, or your enmity even, whatever you have. Being kind means being large-hearted enough to accept you as you are. Including, because when we have a rose, thorns are going to come along with it. So a person is a total package of goodness and non-goodness also. And so, kindness is large-heartedness, to respect others for what they are. Everybody may not satisfy my expectation. I respect others when they live up to my expectation. I disrespect and reject others when they cannot live up to my expectation. That's my usual approach. I am willing to change that approach. Respect them for what they are. However they look, however they dress, however they behave, or however they are. I mean, we generally say that how can I accept a person who is impure, who is a sinner, who violates the law? So that judgment is to be left to Ishvara. My approach is that how can I accommodate? Because that is there. It's a reality. How can I accommodate? Accommodate doesn't mean that I give consent to what he does. That's not the accommodation. Accommodation is just not reacting to that person. Accepting that person. Then decide what you want to do. You have to restrain that person, punish that person. If that is your role, you have to do that. But not out of anger, not out of rejection, but out of an understanding. It comes slowly. But kindness is a great value. In every transaction, if I can be kind, I can be accommodating, I can be respectful of others, of people, of situations. Even if there is a failure, can I be respectful of that? Moment failure comes, I reject it, I react with rejection, with anger. Why? It's a situation. Can I respect that also? Does it have something to contribute in my life? What I call failure also may have something to contribute. Does it have? Doesn't mean I let it go. But I try to refrain from rejecting things, reacting to them with anger, with resentment, with rejection. Our usual approach is that if you don't like something, we reject it. Strong likes and dislikes, a lot of things I dislike. In my mind, I've rejected it. So now, That also has a place. That doesn't mean that I have to condone that. Doesn't mean that I agree with them. Doesn't mean that I go along with them. Doesn't mean that I allow them to, take over me. No. I just respect them for what they are. And then decide what to do. Meaning that your situation or role may require you to be strict, to perhaps even punish, if that's a role, but not out of anger or resentment. Can you remain kind and do that? It's a tough challenge. But this value of being kind and accommodative, or respecting what is, without demanding that everything should change to satisfy me, respecting things as they are, that is kindness. Respect us. And then decide how best to function in that situation. So this spirit of kindness automatically means that I am a contributor. At least I don't hurt anybody. Even accommodating somebody is a great help. People like to be treated with kindness. People like to be treated with understanding. Nobody wants to be rejected. Thus, to respect them being itself is a great contribution. So even if I cannot contribute in terms of some physical or tangible manner, even this my approach or attitude itself becomes a contribution. That I make that person comfortable. Our Swami used to say that, make the person feel elevated in your presence. When somebody comes to you, make him feel elevated, understood, accepted. He feels that I am respected, whoever that person is. Whether he is a sweeper or he is an executive, whoever that is. I don't make this kind of distinction. See, in India, with this caste system, etc., these divisions of superiority, inferiority have become so rooted in ourselves, I see myself, that automatically you disrespect people or reject them because they belong to low caste and they do this kind of... So, some functions are considered superior, some functions are considered bad, inferior, so that fellow is sweeper. So, you just reject him from your mind. That's how I have grown. Just because a person does something that I don't approve of, I reject. So unfortunately, even though the caste system is not meant for that, what the caste system has done in India has created complexes of superiority complex, inferiority. Those people of lower caste feel inferior. They feel that they deserve to be rejected. They don't mind being insulted because they think they deserve that only. And pure upper caste think that it is their privilege, to boss over others and dominate others. Just by your birth, this is how you think it's right. That's an added disadvantage we have, that we would overcome these added things of the kind of complexes created by caste system, by divisions. Caste was not meant to divide people. It was meant to organize people. But in course of the centuries, because we have not managed it properly, it has only divided people. And we are reaping the results of that right now, of what we have done. And so there's rejecting people, they're black people. So immediately we just, just we find some people doing so use all kinds of words, kariya. So these are kind of words that they use, which are derogatory words, And so just because the person has certain skill, that's all. That is enough to reject that person. Look down upon the person. So this kind of tendencies which are there is, I become, a consumer. This is all way of consuming, of rejecting others. So can I respect a person for what the person is? Does not matter what the skin is, what their orientations are, what their belief system is, what their customs are, what their behavior is, whatever it is. That I try not to make any demands upon how that person should be. I do not put conditions that I can respect somebody only when the person is like that. So can I change myself to be able to become broad-minded, kind-hearted, accommodative? Our relationship changes, our approach changes, and automatically whatever I do out of kindness will be a contribution. I use kind words, if nothing else, there is a kind expression on my face. That itself is a contribution because I feel happy when somebody is kind to me. I feel happy when somebody accepts me. You don't need to do anything. Just create a feeling of being accepted. So that is our approach. Even that itself becomes a contribution. You follow? And thus this is, so yajna meant making a tangible offering, because yajna means making offering to a devata into fire. But offering need not be tangible. This tangible is even better. If you can make a tangible offering in terms of helping out, in terms of contributing, that's even better. But if you are not able to do any given situation or don't know what to do, then even this whole approach of being kind and accommodating and accepting others, welcoming others, that's called prasad buddhi. Prasada means prasannata. That you are prasanna, you are happy, you are welcoming, whatever it is. Because ultimately it is given to you by Ishvara. It is creation of Ishvara. And therefore whatever comes from Ishvara is prasad. I mean, this is an ideal thing. It takes a whole lifetime perhaps to imbibe this, but that is our sadhana. And that brings about a self-transformation. So the one who benefits is myself. And that's how the inner accommodation, large-heartedness, kindness, I grow in, that's called self-growth. It is also called self-purification. Because this, my approach of holier than thou, of looking down upon others, of controlling them, dominating them, all of this is all comes is impurity, comes from all ego. And so there is sacrifice. That's called offering. Offering of this ego. By way of offering my resistance, this tendency to reject, tendency to disrespect. This is all tamasi ego. So you want to convert that tamas ego into rajasic ego. And from then to the sattvic ego. That's the very important growth, spiritual growth, of slowly making myself a sattvic person. A sattvic person is a giving person. So I'm not sattvic right now, I try to give so that I will become sattvic. That's called fake it till you make it. You act as though you're a sattvic person. Sattvic person will be a kind person. So you act as though you are kind. Even though kindness may not be there, you act as though you are one. The giving spirit is not that you act as though you are one. That's called fake it till you make it. And this deliberate actions which are based on these values and attitudes, even though you don't feel that way inside, you don't feel respectful. Your immediate reaction is look down upon somebody. You deliberately make yourself act in a manner as though you are respectful. It's called physicalizing the attitude. I have an attitude of respect, being respectful. I don't find myself respectful, but I value for being respectful. Then I act as though I was respectful. Meaning that attitude which I have, I physicalize. So, action affects attitude. Attitude affects action. Action also can affect the attitude. So that's what makes it yoga. Acting or doing things in a certain way, so that it is conducive to cultivate the right attitudes, and thus the purification of mind. So that's how we don't have to do anything special. Don't have to go anywhere because we have to relate to the world whole of our life, every day. So use every interaction as an opportunity, as an occasion to invoke from yourself a kind person. Because we have kindness, it's a matter of invoking. Invoke from myself a good person, a kind person. And it takes time, but I try. And that's how slowly you become successful. A time will come when you are spontaneously kind. Then you have done it. Then you are liberated. When you become spontaneously kind, you are a Jivan Mukta. You follow? Because that's what a liberated person is, a kind person. For what? No reason. Today I am kind because of reason, because you are kind. But slowly, I want to be kind for no reason. That's called spontaneous. Spontaneity, which is there for no reason at all, becomes your nature. And that is our nature. The way I am behaving now is not natural. That I behave is a disrespectful or cruel, but it's not my nature. It's all ignorance that has brought all the distortions. So this removal of ignorance, by trying to ultimately seek out my roots or my true nature, and so conducting myself and keeping with what I truly am. So then I become that because that is my nature. See, we can become spontaneous provided it is our nature. So that I want to become a boss, that is not spontaneous because that's not my nature. What people are trying to do is not in keeping with their nature, therefore you can never become that. There's always stress. To become boss, to dominate, to do all those things which people are trying to do, because that is against one's nature, doing that always causes stress. When you act in keeping with your nature, there is release of stress. This kindness will, in course of time, release all the stresses and strains that are accumulated inside. Make me a lighter person, a simpler person. People also can relate easily with us. We can relate with others. Life just becomes nice, day-to-day life. Because we don't need anything special to be happy. What is there can become means of happiness, if you have the right attitudes. That's the yajna. Simple. Yajna, word yajna is a very heavy word. Sacrifice, that's a very heavy word.
So when you say fake it until you make it, like you can say, tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be kind, even if I don't feel it. And you just keep on doing that, and then it eventually becomes spontaneous.
Right. Correct.
Yes, and you can start at home, I guess.
Start with home. So,
charity
begins at home. Start with a spouse. Or with whoever you are living with, you know.
Start with yourself first. To be kind to yourself, not to put too many
Right, but starting with the spouse is the most toughest thing, you know. Because that's what we take for granted.
Yes.
And because we are safe, we know that we are safe here. We are not going to be rejected. So you become a natural self. So all your limitations and shortcomings come out there with your spouse.
In this culture, yes. Not true anymore.
So that is where we begin. Everybody looks at others, you know. Okay, I see everybody is